This week on the show, we're featuring Aquamarine, Ruby 2 under the microscope cam, 5 new jokes, barbecue sauce on why I buy that, and free awesomeness. Remember the potato farmer from last week? He's having trouble grading his potatoes. Apparently, he grew agitators. Let's start the show. It's thin. It's a chip. Not sure what to do with that. Smooth it over. Give it some little edge facets. Fancy girdle. Kind of the same thing we did with that amethyst slice a couple weeks back. Had to whip something out. Somebody was having a birthday. They said their favorite color's blue. So I tried to crunch out some blue gems. Barite, topaz, tanzanite. And the aquamarine was the one that came together. So it's our feature. Then we can give it away. Happy birthday. I'm actually doing a composite deck for our local church. And it's our pastor who is having a birthday. So I cut this for her. Yep, and I dropped it. It's somewhere in that cup. I had to pour the water out to be able to get it. I think that happens a couple times. But we still have it, so we can show it under the microscope cam. Cheers. And let's fire up that chat bot that Ron loves so much. I love it too. It's a chat. Actually, I was thinking I need to get to work on the co-host bot. I tried using a website with some sound effects, but that didn't work. Then I gotta keep switching over and using the mouse. I need an actual board. Like, I want to use my, number pad. And, I haven't found anything satisfactory so far. 1 week at a time. Flip it over. See, I'm afraid if I slide it off the side of there, then when I'm sliding it off the side of the disc, I'll wind up pushing on it and creating a scoopy cup in there. But once it gets flat enough and there's enough water, it sticks to my thumb, so I can actually pull away and off, and it kind of sticks to the glove there. That little door was originally put on there so that I could access the edge of the grinder and kind of get a better grip on it to get the edge of that wheel. But what I use it for mostly is to change out the laps. Open the door, flip the thumb in, and pull it off of there. Because the laps get so much water behind them that they actually stick. And stick to the master lap. Man, there really isn't much footage here, is there? I mean, I got like 10 minutes to do the show. But I got some other footage. I'll show you some of that barite I tried to cut. Arrgh. It's so frustrating because it starts out as, like a piece like this. And it winds out as a piece like this. With a little crack in it still, so I gotta work it out. And the cracks aren't the result of me dropping it, that's ancillary. Here's the feature. And if you got any questions, let me know. Yeah, the blue didn't really come through up there on the picture. I'm wondering what's going on. I need to get some better lighting. Colette and I were talking about that, and I tried using a piece of paper, and the paper turns out to be yellow. I mean, that doesn't help. So I guess I'm going to have to get like some kind of a photo box or some lighting or something Really like the blue in this guy. Shows the aquamarineliness. You know, aquamarine is supposed to be aqua colored. That's the whole point. And let's see, where are we with the show? Question and answer portion? Alright. Hey, the chatbot's working. Ron Weasley's here and Colette's here, saying hello, doing awesome things. You guys are fantastic. I'm glad to see you. Glad you were able to stop by. I want to say I've featured another piece of aquamarine, but I'm not sure. I know that I kept trying to feature some aquamarine. I'm not sure if I have, though, or not. I will say that and these chips, you know, they're clear. They have a very great watery translucency to them. Got a little like a four-finger pinch full of chips for about $3.60. And a lot of them have like you see the size of the bar, it's like there'll be a crack in it or something, or some type of bubble inclusion or something like that. And they do vary in color. Different ones are darker blue, some of them are almost what do they call clear beryl? Because basically this is a blue emerald. Same stuff. Let's look that up. I got a question. I'm going to try and answer it before we get to the microscope cam. Let's see. Beryl. Clear beryl. Goshenite. That's what it is. Some of them are pretty close to being goshenite. Different varieties of beryllium-based gemstone. Emerald is green. Yellow is heliodor. Red is bixbite. Blue is aquamarine. Pink is morganite. Clear is goshenite. And there's also like supposed to be green beryl, which is different than emerald because it's colored by something different. I'm not finding anything right off of that. I saw that in a video. Just trying to differentiate, clarify, and specify. Maybe they're trying to, sell something else. That's always a way to go about labeling things. I want to say I shaped this on the 240 grit, and then went to a 1000 grit, and then I went to a 1200 cerium to take the big scratches down, and then I went to a 2000 cerium. It's just 3M sandpaper, but it's coated with cerium oxide. It has a different, instead of being pointy, it's more ballular shaped, so it kind of smooths it over a little more easily. And then the sandpaper pieces break loose. They got glue attached to them, and they kind of roll across. Gives me kind of a finer grit, but when it's fresh it cuts nice, and then I can move it over and into a fresh area and cut that even deeper and move back to the worn area and smooth it off. Actually came together quite nicely. I'm pretty happy with this gem, which is why we need to look at it under the microscope. As soon as I power up the scope cam and open the software, doing things in real time, 'cause we know how to win like that. Open the camera, and the camera. First, we'll take a look at the stone of the week, the aquamarine. Bling. Still got some scratches in it, but they don't show up to the eye. Without the lighting, it actually shows up as a clear piece with a nice ring around it. Took a little while to even that out. There we go. actually put a little bit more of a bevel on one edge than the other edge. I mean, what do you do with these little chips like this, you know? So I got a little bit of a bevel here that's bigger than the bevel over there. Man, my fingernails are toast. That's what happens when you grind. And I want to actually cut them down so they're not long at all, but they come in so handy at work. And cutting gemstones. You know what I want to do is get more guests for you. I've been trying to get some guests, but I can't quite get people to be guests. Timing and all that kind of stuff. Not a lot of views anyway. Which, that tells me that they're not the right guest. But Tom Kelly agreed to do a guest spot. I'm afraid that I'm going to screw up that interview. It's going to be a really awesome interview. I want to be ready for it, and I need to take the time to do that. Love listening to his podcast. I'm probably actually listening to it while I shape this gem. He was on a podcast called Excuse My Grandma, and so I was listening to the Excuse My Grandma podcast too. But yeah, we got a nice little bevel, and the bevel, if I flip it over this way, the bevel doesn't quite show as much color. And if I flip it over the other way, it shows a little more of the color. Nice little piece of glass. But it's not glass, it's aquamarine. It's a real gemstone dug out of the earth. Kind of exciting. It looks blue. Oh, yeah, it's great. Oh, yeah, I actually, I did order the labels. So we should be having some labels come up. And I'll be able to restock my Amazon with some plant food. Finally. After a year of not doing anything with it, trying to decide on them labels, dealing with the company that originally made the label, and that was weird because they were really nice and really helpful. And I asked them, I got them all their money up front, and I asked them if they wanted some extra money because they were being so helpful. No. But then when it came down to the end of the year, they're like, hey, can you settle up? And I was like, well, I did already. Here's my receipt. And they were like, well, yeah, but that was the other receipt for the first half. And I was like, oh, well, here's the other receipt for the for the first half, because I gave them the receipt for the second half. And they were like, oh, okay. Well, I guess we're square then. And I was like, all right, great. Can you send me the final file? The one that I can send to the label company. Ghosted. Completely ghosted. What? 3 months now, sent a couple phone calls, few emails, nothing. Oh, she's in a meeting now. I don't know. That's what you get. So what I did is I forwarded the 2 files that I had onto the label company themselves, who said they hired some graphics people. I think it's Label Advantage, and they put them together and updated it, and I really like the final version. So I'm going to go ahead and order some labels, and we'll get some plant food going. It's almost done. I just had to touch up a couple of the edges, and then I take it back to the table and sand it off. Let's go ahead and play the last little bit, and then I'll roll some of this barite footage, kind of give you an idea of what I'm working with there. Yeah, see, it's got more color bar on the bottom than on the top, so I opened it up and tried to even that out. I also worked on this ruby. We're still trying to figure that one out. Let's see. If you have any questions about gems, go ahead and enter them in the chat, and I'll try to answer them. And if you're watching later, enter your questions in the comments, and I'll try to answer them. And I won't even charge. So this is where we are with the ruby. It's got some deep bust outs. This is basically the 60 grit, but with a quick 2000 grit polish to see where we're going. It's got a lot of square crackliness. It's got a lot of uneven color too. Notice how some of the zones are darker, like a purpley-ish, and some of them are more like a fiery orangey reddish. And then there's like the little problems over here with like this thing on the corner. Try and get that out of there, and then this guy over here, because the problem with it being all like not even is that it doesn't really look like a gem. It just looks like a rock that's kind of shapy. But once we get it smoothed over, then it looks a little bit more like a gem. It's a pretty big piece for a ruby. You know, pretty good size. I don't know. We're still going to work on it, though. We're trying to figure out, and hopefully you, if you want to help, give me some advice, how we're going to actually finish this piece out. Because I'm afraid more cutting on it might split it. It might split in half, which is probably a good thing. Because then, you know, you don't want to send a weak stone out. You know, it's pretty solid. Pretty hard. It's good stuff. Yep, still one piece. Big chunk of ruby. Big ruby, but you got a big. And what else we got? I got the barite. We'll show you the barites. So, this piece of blue barite, got a few of these, and there's a lot of like inclusion, a lot of like striation, a lot of opaqueness going on inside these things, but there's a little bit of clarity in there. And I tried to pick one that I thought was gonna turn out, and I tried to pick another one that I thought was gonna turn out. See how it kind of has those natural edges along here? That's basically the natural crystal point showing up there. But it's so soft, and you'll see it just grind right away when I put it on that stone, on the grinding wheel. But we're trying, and here's an example of what happens. I get close, and then a piece will flake off like that, you know? It doesn't hold up, so you can't really make it into jewelry just because it's so fragile. But it is crystally, and it's got this like chip in the corner that kind of ruins the fun out of it. But it is clean, so I mean you can facet it. If you start with a low enough grit size, even then the vibrations just go right through it and tear it apart. And it's nothing like hard stones. Same thing with this guy here. See that rainbow in there? That's a crack. That's a bad thing. I mean, I like the rainbow in there if it was going to stay. Because it's pretty cool, right? But it's not going to stay. It's going to chip out. Like this front side, it chipped out on me so many times. Let's go ahead and roll some of that footage and you can get a feel for what I'm clamoring about. Here, I'll roll the footage for this one. There it is. There's the piece. The way it started, I was like, oh, sure. It's going to turn out, and we'll just kind of even it across and make it into like a half moon shape. Nope. Just keeps falling apart on me. Like this back edge here. This thing was roundier, and then it just kept eating out, and there's like chunks that are coming out of it. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do anything with this or not. I wouldn't mind featuring it if I could finish it out. But I mean, I got to eat down to get rid of these holes. And it just disappears. It's such a nice color. I mean, it's a really beautiful blue, but I can't get it to stay through the polishing phases. I'll show you some topaz. That's also blue. But I did I polished up this piece of amber, this one with the reds in it, so that I'm gonna put it on the dop. I put the big amethyst from last week on the dop. It's glue. It's the glue is epoxy, is hardening right now. But I put it. It's so odoriferous. I put it outside to dry, you know, even in the cold. But we got this one polished up, so it's ready for the dop. I think this one's going to make a nice faceted stone. And It's going to kind of match this 45 here. It's not really a 45 either, but I think I'm going to try and make it a 45. I'm actually going to eat away a little bit of this side, and then we'll be able to re-45 it. Otherwise, I could try and turn the top, but I don't want to do that when I could do it on the faceter if I just hold it to the side a little bit. And it's so hard. Look at these cracks on the back. Yeah. Soft amber doesn't crack out. But this stuff's hard. And I mean, the cracks are bad, but they're also, you know, a good sign that it's a solid piece. And there's the yellowiness that you usually get. And then if we turn it, there's the redliness that I'm going for. So that's our goal, is a nice faceted red piece of amber. Now let's look at that topaz, because it was one little piece of topaz and I split it in two, and then a couple little chunks came off of it. And it's pretty obvious which side is the blue side. Usually the topaz has blue in a zone if it's natural blue. If it's dark blue like London topaz, it's been irradiated. And if it's mystic topaz, it's coated. Here, I'll show you this Topaz Ghost. Still not sure how to finish it out. I call it the ghost or the blob because it's like a blob going bloop, 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 bloop. It's very ghost shaped, sort of. But it's got a blue corner in it. So I want to show you the blue corner. You know, the one area is more bluier than the rest. Not sure how to do this one. I kind of like the ghost shape. You know, I don't want to make it small, but I also really like the blue and I want to keep that. So we'll have to come up with some kind of a plan. Just kind of sitting on this one, waiting to figure out what to do with it. We might just leave it as is, throw it in the museum. But what we didn't throw in the museum is this piece of topaz, which I split these two pieces. Notice the one is bluier than the other. And these two little pieces came off of it. And one of them's blue, the other one's not. And this one, it's so small, I can't do anything with it because there's a big, like, crack in the middle. See if I can hold it so that you can see. I mean, taking the time to facet it will just split it again. There you go. Give you a feel for the crack inside that bad boy. Naughty, naughty bad boy. Actually, it is kind of knotty, like a piece of wood with knots. Knotty wood. So, yep, there's that. But then we got this other little blue one. We might be able to do something with it, make a little dornt. Some kind of gem out of it. I'm not sure if there's a lot of clarity in there or not. It's pretty small. Looks like there's some issues inside of it. Might not be worth the time. I don't know, it does kind of look clear though. Maybe we'll actually try and work on that. But before we do that much, we've got these other two pieces that I need to decide on. So this kind of brings me to what I was talking about when you got a nice little piece of topaz like this. Why does it take so long to shape? I don't know what shape to make it. I can't figure it out. I don't know. I can't decide. We need to maximize the stone, right? Actually, what sells, or what I've found is desirable, is color, clarity, and brilliance, then shape, and then carat weight. Because, I mean, you can have a big, heavy carat weight piece of garbage that just doesn't even look like a crystal. It looks like a rock. So, I mean, that's cool and all, but really the color, if you have a colorful stone, that's better than a colorless gemstone, than a colorless gem being all blinky blinky. Because the color really trumps the clarity of it. Because a clear piece can just look like a piece of glass. But if you've got clarity and brilliance, that tends to sell more than shape. If you've got a neat shape, but it doesn't have that clarity, that brilliance, it's not going to sell as easily. And so that's when you get into the shape of it selling, which takes me to the one up in the corner. It's got clarity. There's a little bit of brilliance if you consider the lines are very bright. And it has nice color in that brilliance. It didn't really show up on the thing. I mean, it is blue. Like the gloves, you know, it's blue. All right. So it's got good color. It's got good clarity. Then I was going for shape because that thing definitely doesn't have carat weight. But this, you know, what are we going to do with this? See, I guess I could make it into a triangle point. It looks like it kind of has some 45ularity that'll catch the light. So maybe we'll do that. We'll just make it a triangle-y point. But I've been going for more of the 180-degree symmetry. How many colors does topaz come in? All the colors of the rainbow. Typically topaz is clear, and then it'll have some blue in it, or it'll have some like rust. And rust can be everything from brown to light yellow. So it's like brown to orange to light yellow, and then there's red, and there's even some pink, but the reds and pinks are rare. They're actually pretty hard to come by, a lot more so than Imperial Topaz. Imperial Topaz is like orangey stuff, like golden, and even vibrant yellow. And it's about $500 a carat. And then red topaz is about $3,500 a carat. And then, let's see, diamonds are usually about $1,500 to $5,000 a carat, depending on how they're cut. Okay, so there's a little bit of a problem in the top there, but we'll probably eat that out. And then this little problem here, we'll get rid of it when we do the edge. But like this, I'm not sure how to finish it. I actually kind of made a decision on it. And I mean, we're pretty close to the girdle shape of it right now. I'm going to make it this, and then I'm going to try and do something with the bottom to catch all the light and the blue. I'm afraid of losing too much of it, which brings me to the reason I wanted to put it under the microscope. See this intense edge facet over here? It's so much. I want to like eat the top down or eat the side in. And really, when you're talking about something that you know, you want it to be wide and presentable in a ring, so eating the top down would be a better idea. But if I do too much of that, it'll get into this side over here. So really, I've only got like 32nd of an inch to eat it down. So if we pull a 32nd of an inch off over here, it'll make it about out to there. And then the rest of this is a pretty sharp facet, so I might eat back a little bit, and then we'll kind of go for there, from there. And hopefully, like if I turn it like this, you can see right through it. I don't want that to happen. I actually started turning it to try and get it to catch the light, because it's such a nice blue piece. I want to catch as much of the blue as possible and just reflect it around inside of there. So hopefully I can get this thing finished up and include it in the birthday package to the person who wanted some blue gems, to our pastor for our local Baptist church. Make a nice birthday present, right? Okay, what do we got left? That's the microscope portion. Not much left of the show. Why'd I buy that? I'm going to tell you why I bought some barbecue sauce. Because I like barbecue. You know? Who doesn't like some barbecue? If you don't like barbecue, you probably don't have the right barbecue. Maybe you don't have the right sauce. I've heard that some people don't use sauce on their barbecue. And I appreciate that. I mean, some nice barbecue rub, or even just some kind of smoked, you know, if the brisket is smoked with the right kind of wood, makes for a pretty good barbecue. But I like a sauce. I mean, it really feels more like what I'm used to when there's a sauce involved. Let's do a little bit more of the barite. You can see the other one. This is the one I tried to make into a point, and I thought, you know, there's some clarity in there. There's some little bit of cloudiness up in the corner, but the bulk of it's, You know, it's there. It's got clarity. There we go. That's got a deep pit in it. That's where I really lost a lot, is with that deep pit. Thought about not shaping that one, but I thought it'd turn out to be a good gem. It's just that barite just falls right apart. It's frustrating. But we learn as we work with it, and that's what we do. I'd like to send a piece of it to Honest Gas Handmade, see if he can shape it, you know. It kind of reminds me of trying to shape spodumene. The further you get into it, the more cracks there are. But the further I get into this barbecue sauce, the more satisfied I am. The question is, which barbecue sauce did I buy? And why did I buy that? I was actually looking for the one that I'm used to. I don't even remember what it's called. It's got a picture of like some cow horns, you know, the straight out cow. I don't know, I wanted to say Cattleman's or something, but I can't remember. I think it just said hickory smoked barbecue on it, and that was what really sold it. But I couldn't see that. I know I see, you know, like there's all the fancier barbecues there. Not real sure. A lot of them are marinades. They got different labels on them. I'm not familiar with it. I was kind of going for what I'm used to. I see they got cookies, and I appreciate that, but actually cookies is like the affordable barbecue sauce. It's like, let's say you go to school, you know, the school lunch, they use cookies. Or let's say you're going to a fundraiser, and you know, like a church fundraiser or something, and they open the big jar where you got to use the can opener, and it's like 5.7 gallons of barbecue sauce. It's cookies and it's barbecue-y. You know, it gets the job done, but I wanted something a little bit better. It's for my New Year's little smoky pot. I wanted something that I wanted what I'm used to. And the only other one that I'm used to that has some flavor that I really get down on is the one down on the bottom shelf. Sweet Baby Ray's. Sweet Baby Ray knows how to make some barbecue. It's delicious, and I'm glad I did too. I actually threw some barbecue and the little smokies in the pot, boil it up, and boil like a nice ploppy boil, and then I put some bacon bits down in the thing and pour that hot barbecue sauce over the bacon bits and some little smokies, and then I kind of use the little smoky to wipe the bacon bits out. Man, I'm getting hungry already. That's why I bought that. I knew it was down there, and I had to look back a little bit to find it, sure, because I can't really see it. And you know, I got creaky knees and an old people back, so I'm like, put my hand on there and I reached down. But I didn't do that, but I wanted to. But that was good. It was worth bending over to pick up. I will say that much. I'm not sure about the other ones, the ones in the glass bottles. Maybe I'll try them when I'm not looking for specifically what I'm used to. Because I like to make some pulled pork barbecue and put some mayonnaise and pickles on that. That's a way to do it. But this was just about the little smokies. It was about the same thing I'm used to. Got to start the new year off right. And that's why I buy that. Do you buy barbecue sauce? And why do you buy that? What kind do you buy? What do you like with your barbecue? And how did you put it together? Go ahead and leave me a comment. Let us know. Shout it out, baby. Like we do on the Why'd I Buy That portion of the program. Which takes us right into the joke portion of the program. Good timing, right? Because that's the end of the video. I didn't even have to pause it. But you know what I do have to pause for? The joke portion of the program. What do we got? A couple of jokes for a portion of the program. Let's see, where are we with the jokes? Got jokes? Sort of. A robot with artificial intelligence was given computer chips for eyes and was heard saying, "I was blind, but now I see." Yeah, it's a programmer joke. A plumbing company hired a duck to be a plumber. Apparently, he claims to be an aqueduct. Scientists have discovered, after thorough testing, that the best gemstone for your feet is topaz. Yeah, it makes way too much sense. I was raised in a Catholic church. We sit, stand, kneel, stand, sit. I feel like I'm doing calisthenics. I went to a church without all that, started getting restless leg. And remember that potato farmer from last week? Apparently he's having trouble grading his potatoes. Turns out he grew agitators, which is what happens when you stick around for the joke portion of the program. I'm glad you were able to make it for the show this week. Much love to Ron Weasley and Colette S. You guys are fantastic. I wish I had more jokes. I wish I had more content. But that's what we have this week. Hopefully we'll have more next week. And that's why I hope you can make it. And we're going to try again for 9 p.m. Eastern. Much love to you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Keep being awesome.